What's up, motherfuckers? Scuba Steve back here with the return episode of Somewhat Supernatural. And today we are talking about something that I hold near and dear to my heart. And we'll get into what the episode is about. Of course, you see here Duendes, but some of you may be thinking, what is a Duende? You've never heard of a Duende, but you have. You just didn't know that you've heard of a Duende. So, my co-host with the most, Joseph, how's it going? Also one of my tag team partners in Dark Side Paranormal. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going good. I just got home, still in my work uniform, sweating, but I'm here. Made it barely, but I made it.
I'm glad you made it, man, because I was gonna go with this alone, and I mean, I don't mind doing it alone. And I just realized I did not send you fucking show notes. I should do that.
You did not, but I can banter back and forth.
Okay, well, that's all we need then, So, what's been going on, man? What's been going on with you before I go on what's going on with myself? What have you been up to, man?
Man, not a whole lot. We did that investigation. What was it, a couple of weeks ago at that house, and we got another house investigation coming up. We got Martha Chapel coming up. We got a House of Rock coming up.
Oh yeah, House of Rock's gonna be a good one, man.
Yeah,
and I'm excited for that one because not only because of the history of the building, but because we will be the first ever paranormal team to be on or to be in there, investigating. So I'm really excited for that. I mean, that building has so much history. It's one of the oldest buildings in Corpus. So, getting the honor of actually going in and doing what we do, I mean, that's great, and then that house that I was telling you guys about, that's going to be very interesting also, especially with the history on that, with the curse that was put on there, supposed curse, we'll see what happens, man. But personal life, what's been going on? Other than our ghost hunts, because I mean, our ghost hunts are fun and everything. But what else is going on?
Man, not much. I just got done helping my daughter move furniture. She's got a new place, so she's getting away from her old roommate, moving in with a new roommate. And so yeah, that's why I was running behind today. Other than that, man, we celebrated my youngest one's birthday last weekend. She turned 10.
Happy 10th birthday, Leah. Happy birthday. Yes.
Other than that, man, just working. Worked in the rain today. It wasn't that fun, but make a paycheck.
I have a, I'm lucky to have an inside job, so it's not, when it rains and stuff, but the weather's definitely affected me today, actually all week, because it's been gloomy weather pretty much all fucking week. You know what I mean? It's been just like real shitty, as far, weather wise, but, I really haven't been doing much. I mean, I of course have not been doing Somewhat Supernatural. It's been a while. I want to say my last episode was February, I think, maybe February. I think it was around February that I did my, the beginning of February that we did the last episode of Somewhat Supernatural. And I just needed a break, man. Like, it's all fun and games. I love doing my podcast. Don't get me wrong, but I just had other stuff going on mentally that I needed to take care of. And I, for the most part, got it taken care of. Everything pops up every once in a while, but I'm here. I'm surviving, and I'm ready to give out more paranormal to, the fans of Somewhat Supernatural. So I'm glad that, we're able to come back and do that. And especially with a topic like this, this wasn't the original topic for episode 9. The original topic for episode 9 was supposed to be Sasquatch. But I have, Johnny D and TJ Bowser are going to be on that one with me. But unfortunately, Johnny D couldn't make it today because he was getting his second vaccination. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress. I'm going to switch it up. I have tons of topics that I've been researching, and we're going to go with one that I know you've been requesting for a long time. And I decided, hell yeah, let's do the Duendes. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of people that don't know what Duendes are, and it was really crazy that when I posted on Facebook that, okay, this is what I'm doing it on, a buddy of mine, Chris, was like, oh, we have those in Guam. We have that legend in Guam. And I'm like, what the hell? Like that's really weird. But Guam has a lot of Spanish history in it. You know what I mean? So true. That's where the tale of the Duende originated, was in Spain. And then of course it came over to Mexico. And, and I always say, anytime I hear a story or a legend or a tale or a haunting, anything that comes out of Mexico, I believe it wholeheartedly, 100%. I don't need to see proof.
Yes.
I don't need anybody to say, "Oh, this is fake." No, I believe it. I believe it 100%. And that with the duendes, I mean, I've seen one. We'll get into that later. And I think I've actually seen two now that I think about it, because we're gonna play some clips here in a bit. I was able to
Nice.
finally, I was able to finally figure out how to get clips on here. I asked TJ earlier. I was like, "Hey, Bowser, how do I put clips? Like, I want to play some clips, man. I feel like that's the one thing missing from the podcast is actually getting some clips up there, about our topics." And he was
Definitely.
like, "Oh, this, and this." I was like, "Okay, cool, perfect. I got this." So
Hey, do you have the one dancing in the street?
no, man. I was looking for that one
That's
and I couldn't find it.
yeah,
Like, I could not find, but the ones that I got, they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty
yeah.
legit, man. Like,
Because that's the first video I ever seen that introduced me to Duendes.
yeah,
And yeah, and I was hooked from there on out.
yeah, man. And you can get on YouTube and just go down the rabbit hole of
Oh
duende
yeah.
videos, and of course, you can tell some of them are fake, but then
Mhm,
there's some that are out there that are, you can tell 100% that's not fake. Like, and if it is a fake, they did a damn good job at faking that. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Um, so TJ, our TJ, Dark Side TJ just messaged me. Thanks for the invite.
That's
Bro,
I
every
saw
time
that.
I ask, every time, hold on though. Every time I ask him to be on the podcast, he's driving. I need you stationary at home, bro. I need you I don't need you
True.
to be driving and wrecking. And then I don't want to see that shit on Somewhat Supernatural. I don't want to see you cross over into the ghost land because, you were driving and you wrecked into something. Oh my God, there's a ghost behind you. It's a
I
duende.
know. The Duende. Yes,
It's
she
a
is
duende.
small.
It's so small. It's so small. For those of you
That's
that don't
so
know, that was Joe's wife, Lisa. So yeah, no, and it's not that I don't want my team on the show. Of course I do. You know what I mean? I love integrating you guys into the show, but TJ's never home. That fool's always driving. If I knew that he would be at home sitting down in front of the computer like you, I would have him on. But more than likely he's
yeah.
fucking out and about driving around. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you were saying, we do have a lot of investigations coming up. I have a lot of topics also for Somewhat Supernatural coming up as well. I have a lot of other things in the works also. I was on a few podcasts. Our buddy Ben from Dark Side, I was on his first ever podcast called Recycled Corn. Check it out on Spotify, and I don't remember the other place he has it, but Spotify for sure. Check it out on Spotify. It's called
Hey,
Recycled
what's
Corn.
that about?
It's just, dude, basically it was just him asking me questions about my life, man. Like, it was really cool, like a
Really?
real laid back interview. It wasn't video, it's audio only. Um
Okay.
and we literally just sat across from each other at a table and just, he asked questions, I gave him answers. It was really cool. And it was 2 hours long, man, and it did not even seem like it went that far, and it was really good. Like, he's gonna go places with this podcast. Like, he's doing really good things
That's
with it,
awesome.
and granted that he doesn't want to do a video podcast because he said his face isn't made for TV, which, whatever. But he's gonna do good things with it, man. I was also on another podcast called Horror 365, where, basically they just talked about, or I talked about my experiences as a paranormal investigator, talked about Dark Side, how we came together, and I actually did that one about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, and it just dropped
Oh,
today. So if you guys get a chance, go check that out. But also, don't forget Project Louder. We have the widest variety of podcasts out there. So I know Bobby Amone just started his podcast, and it's all about cosplay. So if you cosplay, it's called The Machine Shop with Bobby Amone. Be sure to check that out. It's
nice.
gonna be
And the last somewhat paranormal was with him on it, right?
Somewhat Supernatural.
Was that
Yeah.
the
Well,
last?
he
Yes,
was on
somewhat
the Jersey
supernatural.
Devil. Yeah, he was on the Jersey
Yes.
Devil
Okay.
episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So he's, and he's on every Monday, on Gore and More, but he branched off and he's got his own, podcast now about cosplay, which is going to be really good. I know this last episode, I want to say he had Corey on it, I believe, or that's the next episode coming up. So it's going to be really good. If you guys get a chance to check it out, check it out. If not, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life?
Right. Right.
There's TJ
Turn
right
off
there.
the TV. Turn into podcast, man.
Exactly. You know what I mean? This is reality right here. What you're watching on TV is
Right.
not, this is reality. So let's
We,
go
we have
ahead
notes
and,
but no scripts.
yeah, notes but no scripts. This is all off the
I
top
don't
of
have
this fucking crazy ass head. And Joe don't even have notes. This is all fucking just off the top of his head completely.
Yes. And hold on, before we get started, real quick, suggestion for Ben. I know you did that podcast with him, all audio. Just a suggestion if he wants to go this way. You ever watch Vlad TV?
No.
No, he does a bunch of podcasts and stuff, interviews.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it's all over YouTube and Vlad TV. He doesn't have the camera on himself. He has a camera on the person he's interviewing. So maybe if he
Oh,
wanted to do something for YouTube, he could do it in that layout to where the camera is just on the person getting interviewed and he's
yeah.
behind the camera.
Yeah, that might work.
Just
That
putting
might
that out
actually work. Yeah, but and like I said, it was really cool because we're in his game room and we just have the table between us and we're sitting at one end and the microphone's there and we're just talking, you know what I mean? And it was really cool. Um so I don't know. He's gonna go places. That's all I'm gonna say. It's good.
there.
I know he was
I have to
already
check it out.
he might, and we even mentioned you in the podcast. We did. He said we were talking about you being the rookie or something. Or I don't even remember what we
But
said, but
we've established now
you're
I am
not the
not the
rookie
rookie.
anymore. TJ's the rookie. TJ, our TJ,
You're,
Darkside
you're
TJ. He's the
listening.
rookie. That's what he gets. That's what he gets for missing so many investigations. He has been bumped down to the rookie because Joe officially now has more experience. Yes, Brody. Oh shit. The Australian Kanga Banga. What's going on, Brody? Missed you, brother. Missed you. So the topic of the evening, like I said, is duendes. Okay. Now, some of you may say, what the hell is a duende? Well, let me tell you what a duende is. Okay. So, the duende, okay, first off, this is, I took this off the net, of course, but it's a cool little like insight to it. Okay. It says, beware. A Mexican mother told her children before they went off to bed. They're out there waiting for you for the right moment. Duendes will take you away in the middle of the night to their cave in the middle of the forest. They'll keep you there and no one will know because you'll be deep in the forest where nobody can hear you scream. Another mother may say, and if you get lost and need some help, duendes will be there to guide you to safety. So some people think duendes are good, some people think duendes are bad. Now, the thing that I saw, and we'll get into that later of how to see which one's good and which ones are bad. So in other words, the same entity that's viewed as evil and or mischievous by some is considered a good spirit who protects lost hikers, children, and critters lost in the forest. Whether good or evil, duendes have been getting a lot of attention on the internet. Could somehow a legend from the depths of Mexico and South America be true? Or is it simply some kind of hysteria? These are duendes. So the duende is a humanoid figure of folklore with variations from Iberian, Latin American, and Filipino cultures. In Spanish, duende originated as a contraction of the phrase dueño de casa or duen de casa. In fact, basically like the owner of the house or the head of the house, for the or master of the house per se, or perhaps derived from some similar mythical being of the Visigoth or Swabian Creek culture, given its similarity with the tomte of the Swedish language. And I'm pretty sure that's not how it sounds. I said it all Mexican, tomte, but it's Swedish. So I wouldn't even know how to, give the Swedish accent, but whatever. TJ said he's only missed two. He's missed more than two. He's missed more than two investigations. Let's be real. So, of the Swedish language, conceptualized as a mischievous spirit inhabiting a dwelling. According to legend, this elf-like creature either dwelled in the forest or lived inside a child's bedroom walls. It is said that when the opportunity arrives, El Duende will lead children deep into the forest or to his cave, or will come out of the walls to clumsily clip a sleeping child's toenail, most often taking off the entire toe. So when I hear that, what I think of is the Stephen King movie Cat's Eye. Have you ever seen Cat's Eye?
If I have, I don't remember it.
So
When
it's
was
Drew
it? When was it
Barrymore.
put out?
Dude, this is like from the 80s. It's we were kids when this movie came out. So Drew Barrymore is in the movie. Um, and she's little, man. It might have been one of her first movies that she did. And there's this little green goblin thing that like lives in her wall
Oh,
that is
yes.
like
Okay.
sitting on
Okay.
her chest, sucking her breath. That is what a duende to me is. Like anytime I think of a duende, that's the perfect example right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think of garden gnomes.
Well, yeah,
Like
and garden gnomes too.
that's how it was explained to me when I first learned about them.
Yeah. So in Spain and Portugal, the word duende refers to spirits like goblins or sprites. Like the English term goblin, duende is a vague term. A duende may be any kind of small spirit. In general, they are associated with wild nature, very much like a sprite, although the word is sometimes also used to indicate small household helper spirits like a brownie or a lutin. They are mischievous and sometimes have a wicked sense of humor, but are generally not harmful, although there are exceptions. Now, I don't any of the videos that I've seen of a duende, they they don't really attack anybody. It's like they're running away. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to be
Yeah.
caught. They don't want to be seen. It's just like by accident they get caught on
Mhm.
camera. You know what I mean? So it's very it, I don't think that they're there to hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At
I've
all.
never seen any footage of one going after anybody, and
Yeah.
it's always almost like how they say about cockroaches. They're more scared of you than you are of them, and
Fuck that.
because every
Cockroaches are
time I
evil.
see, that's the my wife will say the same thing. But no, that's what I've always seen in videos. It comes into frame, someone screams, it gets spooked. The person and the duende go the opposite directions. That's what I've always seen. Now, what you were talking about earlier, like some people think they could be good, some people think they could be evil. It To me, I think of it like ghost hunting. You have good spirits, evil
Yep.
spirits, residual. So I mean, it could be a mixture of both. It just depends.
Well, and we'll get into that here in a bit when I describe their traits and how you can tell how
Uh,
one is evil and one is good. And it's really fucked up the way you can tell the difference. But yeah, and it is. It's you'll see why. And
you don't have
yeah.
to cuss them out like Lechusas, do you?
No, you don't have to cuss them out like the choose us. You may cuss and
Okay,
fucking piss your pants, but you
agreed.
get well, yeah. So in parts of Latin America, however, the term duende refers to a more specific type of spirit. Duendes are tiny ghosts, souls of fetuses and unbaptized infants. They are hungry, persistent, nagging ghosts. It is difficult to reason with them or appropriate them because they do not speak or comprehend. They just yearn and crave. So in Latin
Hmm.
America, they think that if you do not have a child baptized, um, or if you have like a miscarriage or something, that the soul of that baby or fetus becomes a duende. I had never heard that before. That was very
Me
interesting
either.
to me. So the most dangerous duendes are souls of undesired, discarded newborn infants who have been killed, suffocated, strangled, drowned, whatever, or just abandoned and left for dead. Duendes haunt sources of fresh water, rivers, streams, or springs, but they usually try to rejoin the families into which they had anticipated being born. It is unclear whether they are angry and intend to cause harm or whether their presence alone is sufficiently toxic. They are potentially harmful, especially to living siblings who are often the only ones able to see them. Duendes should be professionally exercised, but because many are the result of secret pregnancies, they are left to cause illness and harm. Now,
Hmm.
that to me is like the most in-depth look I've ever heard of a duende because I just thought they were like little fucking David the Gnomes running around. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what I've
Because
always thought.
so to get this different view on them is kind of crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play a video here of a duende sighting. I don't know which one to play though. Let one, two, or three, Joe. Take your pick. One, two, or three.
I don't know which one's TJ.
Huh? Oh, that didn't
Which
mean
one's
TJ. Sorry, Joe.
our TJ?
Sorry.
No, let's go with, let's start in the middle, number two.
Number two. Okay, so on this one, there's a group of kids riding their dirt bikes. Okay, now, like I said, most of these take place in Mexico, so a lot of this is going to be in Spanish. They are riding their dirt bikes. One of them lays their dirt bike down because what he sees coming out of the grass. So let's take a look. Pretty fucking creepy, right?
Dude,
Broad
that's nice.
daylight. Okay, so and the thing that gets me on this is I would the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, that could be a deer. It could be something, like a baby deer. But if you look at it really closely, you see
Yeah,
like
it's
arms. You know what
bipedal.
I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, and for him to drop his bike the way he did, you know what I mean, because of what he saw,
yeah.
for me, there's no way that could have been faked. Of course, whatever. People have, great imaginations and they could have said, hey, let's fake this or whatever. But for me, like I said, anything I see that comes out of Mexico, I'm believing 100% because I've seen shit. You know what I mean?
So that guy that chased after it, that's me. Remember when you saw that
Oh,
shadow?
yeah. Oh, dude. Okay, so this right here is the perfect example of Joe and I on investigations. Okay, so Joe and I went to Ozona, Texas, and did an investigation. The rest of the team wasn't able to go, so just Joe and I went, and we teamed up with South Texas Ghost Ventures and Unknown Ventures, and what was it? Dirty South Paranormal was there
Dirty
also.
South, yeah, yeah,
So we did a group thing with these other ghost teams, and it was great. We had the run of this old hotel that had been there for a long time. Ozona's a really small town, and you can tell it used to be a beautiful, beautiful hotel. Brody said,
bro.
"Looked like Chad Daddy running around naked, a little baby Chad Daddy running around." Um, so I saw something. No cameras are running. That's what pissed me off because I had turned my body cam off,
Yeah,
and my other cameras we had set down on the desk that was there. And out of the corner of my eye, I see something. So I look, and I see somebody fucking standing in the doorway that looked like a little kid. I jump. Like when I say I jump, Joe can attest to this. I fucking
he
jumped.
jumped.
Now, I don't jump like that. Like I get scared, of course, but not like that. This
Yeah, your
scared the
jump
shit
scared
out of
me.
me. And so I'm like there trying to compose myself, and Joe fucking takes off running into the fucking darkness. And I'm like, goodbye, Joe. I don't know how I'm going to explain this to your wife. Where are the car keys? You have the car keys, Joe. Don't die. But I
Oh,
mean, and we didn't see anything. And there was no way there was anybody else in that building with us at all. We had
yeah,
we had the sheriff sitting outside who was making sure that nobody else would enter this building, and it was just surreal seeing that happen. And I really wish I would have not turned my goddamn and it wasn't even that I turned my body cam off. My body cam was full. The footage was full, so that's why it
yeah.
turned off. It
And
wasn't
mine
recording
had
anymore.
died probably 30 minutes before that. Mine had died.
Yeah.
And we set all of our other camera equipment up there. So we were
Yeah,
like,
so it was intense. So check this out. Traditional duende traits. Okay. These are traditional traits of the duende. So duendes are said to be a little less than 2 feet tall. Okay, so they're about foot, to 2 feet tall. Um, there's one on here that I saw that maybe a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? But we'll see that in the video here in a bit. So there are male and female duendes. but they look very similar. So, like most of the fairy folk, duendes can be good or bad depending on you or its mood. So, if you are a happy person, then this duende that lives in the house with you is going to be a happy duende. If you are a miserable person, this duende is going to be miserable and probably be mischievous. You know what I mean? So, your energy will give off an aura to that duende and basically
So
decide
it
on,
feeds off whatever
yeah,
energy you put out, it feeds off of.
yes. So duendes are also very protective of their homes and the boundaries they have created to live in. So it's like when we were doing that investigation, kind of how I said, fairies,
Mhm.
and that lady had all those fairies in there, and I told her, if she ever sees mushrooms in a circle, don't
Don't
ever
disturb them.
disturb it. Same thing with the dueñas. Dude, yes, exactly, Brody. Like the little demons from the movie The Gate. Yes, exactly. Except not as demonic, I would say. You know what I mean? These things are like they're supposed to be like gnomes. You know what I mean? Like David the gnome is
Yeah.
every time I see them drawn, that's how they look. Um,
And when you were talking about how the spirit of unborn children or small children not baptized, what came to my mind, a little far out there, but you remember the movie Tales from the Hood?
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, the dolls.
The
Yes.
that's what in my mind I'm like, man, that it just reminded me of that when I was a kid, man, that movie tripped me out, especially that one with
So
the
my
little
dad,
dolls.
my dad loved, like, me and my dad used to watch that movie all the time, and we used to quote it like all the time. And his favorite quote from that movie was "Welcome to hell, motherfuckers." And he would like randomly just walk by doing that. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That was like so many years ago. Stop it.
Yeah,
So duendes typically live in large groups in the jungle, and he eat mostly fruits like figs. So
mm,
they don't eat meat. They are vegetarians per se, I guess.
yeah,
Fruitarians, I guess. I don't fucking know.
vegan,
Also,
sure.
duendes only have 4 fingers. I don't know if you knew this or not. They only have 4 fingers. They don't have thumbs. Yeah, they do not have
I,
thumbs.
well, I guess that's why we've never seen them in a tree. They can't really climb.
Yeah, they can't really climb. So, in some cultures, duendes are known to be good or bad. Now, here's the this is a fucked up one, but I didn't make this up. Okay, this is coming from legend. Okay, in some cultures, duendes are known to be good or bad based on the color of their skin. Racist
Sounds
question.
racist. Mhm.
Sounds racist as fuck to me. You know what I
Eh,
mean?
sounds like a white person point of
Yeah,
view.
it sounds like yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing, Joe. You can say that. You can say that. I
Yeah,
can't.
I'm white. Yeah, I'm
You
white.
know, I'm 51% mutt and 49% Hispanic, so I can't
I'm
say
half
that.
white, half Caucasian. So
So also, duendes like to dress in animal fur and wear interesting hats. So here's where the David the gnome similarities come into play
uh,
because some of them wear those little pointy hats. Now, there is a video here that I'm going to play right now of one of the duendes, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Phantasm. I think I talked to you about it, but I don't think you've ever seen it.
I don't know. It sounds
It
familiar. I don't think I have.
They have those the floating balls that like drill into your head, like the shiny orbs. It's got the
Hmm.
tall man in it, and he's like, "Boy." Horrible impression, but there's these little beings in there they look like Jawas the way they dress, like the Jawas from Star Wars, but
Yeah,
they have like smushed up faces. They're just fucking ugly, man. I have seen something similar to what is in this video. So let's play this right here.
Vale, vale. Pero los niños se cogen. Mañana vamos contra el Atlético. ¿Tú qué dices? ¿Qué la ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso?
Ok, Okay, so for those of you that are going to be on the audio only, didn't see what that was, and I should have explained the other video too earlier. Now that I think about it, so for those of you that are listening on audio, I played a video, and it's three kids that are basically, kicking a soccer ball around, and this little creature just fucking comes out of nowhere, and he's wearing a little brown cloak type thing, and he's about, maybe 2 feet tall, and the kids see it and just fall to the floor. Like one of them is scared, falls to the floor screaming. Um, but I have seen something like that when I lived at my apartment, um, where my parents separated. I saw something like that run out of our freaking room. And it was tiny, you know what I mean? And I thought for the longest time I was insane, but at the time I had seen that movie Phantasm a lot, and that's what I saw was a little one of those fucking things from Phantasm. He looked exactly like that. So
That's
I don't know if it was
crazy.
I don't know if it was a duende or if it was just my imagination, but I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy. So in Latin America, duendes are known to wait in homes to talk to the mothers. The reason they do this is because they want to eat the fucking kids, okay? But they
Oh,
need
crap.
they need permission from the mother first. While the
Well, at
kids are
least I got
playing,
respect. I mean,
yeah, while the kids are playing, they come up and attempt to eat them if the mother approves. Like, what the fuck? Well, what kind of shit is that? Like, how
what kind of
shitty of a
mother would
kid?
approve?
No, not even that. How shitty of a kid do you have to be that your mom's just like, yeah, fuck it, eat him,
Eh,
eat the fucking bastard. You know what I mean?
I got
Like,
another one. Eh,
yeah, we have another one. Like, fucking, fuck that kid. Oh, fuck little Jose. Yeah, fuck him.
right?
He talked back. He fucking, yeah. So that right there. I mean, and a lot of this shit, man. Growing up the way I grew up, and of course, your wife's Hispanic, so a lot of our
Hmm.
culture and shit. Our parents and our grandparents fucking fucked us up with fucking stories like this. You know what I mean? Go to bed or the cucuy's gonna eat you. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, don't stay out late at night and don't whistle at night because if you do, the lechusa's gonna come and fucking rip your eyes out. Like, what the fuck? What? Like, fuck. You know what I mean? Um, so it's a Latin thing, I guess, but
Yeah.
that's just how we grew up, or so that could be what this is. Because like I said, some people say they're not evil. So if they're not evil, why the fuck do they want to eat? Go eat your figs in the fucking
Yeah.
forest. Don't be
Leave
eating
us
kitties.
alone.
But I mean, just like there's fucked up people, I mean, there could be fucked up duendes too. So
Now, if they only eat veggies and wheat and oat, why is their only source of meat little kids?
innocence. They eat them for their innocence.
Ah, I like
Mm.
the way you turn that.
It's
Yeah,
like the movie Legend, where he wants the unicorn horn or whatever because the purity of the unicorn. And it's the same thing with the kids. You know what I mean? The duendes want to eat the kids because their souls are pure. Or if we go back to the way they said that they are the souls of unborn children, maybe they're
yeah,
jealous of the kid that actually got to be born, and that's why they want to eat him.
true. Vengeance.
I think I keep looking in the back to see if I see anything fucking run by, because I will scream like a fucking girl. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, your dog walked by earlier, and all I saw was the tail. I was like, "What was that?" And I was like,
Yeah, no, I will fucking scream. So how do you avoid a duende? Okay, so avoiding a duende, if you hear a rumor that they're near, just avoid the area. Plain and simple. If you hear, oh shit, so and so got a duende at their house, don't go to that fucking house. You
"Don't
hear,
do it."
oh shit, there's a duende in the fucking forest. Don't go to the fucking forest. You're good. Um, but there's not much you can do. According to some legends, only children can see duendes. However, if you get a little too drunk, you might be able to see them out of the corner of your eye. So that goes kind of like with the whole ghost hunting thing, or you know what I mean? When you open yourself up, you can see more. Children are innocent. That's why I 100% believe children can see shit that we can't see. I believe that we saw things as kids that at a certain age we stopped seeing. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I believe wholeheartedly that yes, children can probably more than likely see duendes. Now here's my other duende story. Okay, you ready for this shit? Because this
Got it.
happened around the same time as my second encounter with the Hat Man. It happened at the same fucking the same house that we lived at. So I don't remember how old I was, but it was my brother and sister were still little, so they were in the crib together. So my sister was already born. She was born in 85. So I had to have been 4 or 5 years old, maybe 4. I think I was about 4. So I am laying down, maybe 5. I don't know. Laying down in my bed, and I wake up and I hear what sounds like a saw, like a little saw, a little hand saw, somebody sawing wood. But it's fucking like midnight. Nobody should be outside sawing wood. Nobody should be in my house sawing wood. My dad was working in the oil field. He was a swamper, so he wasn't home. My mom was asleep. We all shared the same room. So just picture one big ass room. My bed's in the corner. My mom's diagonal. My brother and my sister are across from me in their crib. So I wake my mom up and I'm like, Mom, I hear a noise in the living room. And she's like, it's just your brother and your sister's bottle. Go to bed. And I'm like, no, the fuck, it's not. And I remember this, man. Like, I clearly remember this. This is not a dream. This is not my mind playing tricks on me. This fucking happened. The noise stopped. And I was like, okay. And I closed my eyes and then I hear it again. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I hear like a piece of board fell, right? And I was like, what the fuck? And then I hear like little feet. So I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, mom, but I'm scared. Nothing's coming out. I'm so scared. Because I know what the fuck I'm hearing. And I'm so scared that nothing is coming out. And so like I'm laying down and I'm facing the doorway and there's no lights on. It's dark, but I guess it might have been a full moon or maybe there was a street light outside in the front. There was light coming in from the living room. So I could see kind of into the living room, and in the fucking doorway of the bedroom, I see something about this big. Okay. But it's like egg shaped. Okay. I don't see any features, but and it could have been wearing a hat because like I said, it was egg shaped. You know what I mean? So it might've been like just a pleasantly plump duende, but the way I described it was like a Humpty Dumpty. Like that's how I would describe it when I was younger. You know what I mean?
When you said egg shape, that's exactly what I thought about.
Yeah, it was like Humpty Dumpty. And so I'm like trying to scream, and nothing is coming out. And I'm like, and then finally I get a scream out, right? I get a fucking scream out and it fucking screams back at me. Like it got scared when I fucking screamed. And I was
what did the scream sound like?
It was just like a high pitch, like a high pitch, like if something little screamed, you know what I mean?
That would scare me more than seeing it.
Like it was scared, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a scream like trying to scare me. It screamed because I scared it. You know what I mean? And so I'm like screaming and my mom fucking jumps up and she's like, "What?" Well, in the process of her waking up because of my scream, this thing is still screaming and it runs under my fucking bed. And I fucking sit up and I jump from my bed to my mom's bed and I told her what the fuck I saw. And she was like, what? And I was like, I know what the fuck I saw. I was like, I heard something sawing in the living room. The board fell. Get up and go look. There's got to be some kind of, board or something off. And she's like, just go to sleep. So I slept with my mom, right? And I woke up in the morning and she wasn't in the room. She was in the living room or in the kitchen making breakfast. And I go and I look every possible place to see if there was like wood or sawdust. There was nothing, man. Absolutely nothing that showed anything was out of place. You know what I mean? But I know what I did look under my bed. That was one of the first places I looked. Like I was so scared, but I looked under the bed and there was nothing. So another thing that I had seen online was that they like to fix things. So if it had been something that it sawed, it would have fixed it. You know what I mean? If it was something that it made a hole in or something, it would have fixed it overnight because they do like fixing things. So the real El Duende, according to cryptozoologists, okay, The website BigfootEncounters.com states that people in Belize were talking about an entity called a duende, Dwendi. The name is derived from the Spanish word duende, meaning goblin. The site goes on to conjecture that duende or el duende was different from the other type of cryptid, or from another famous cryptid, Bigfoot, because it was described kind of the same. The
Hmm.
site claims that writer Michael Cremo first detailed an eyewitness account in a book entitled Forbidden Archaeology. Also, he stated writings from Ivan Sanderson, a researcher who collected the accounts from dozens of men of substance who worked for responsible organizations, mainly like the forestry department. So he would get notification, or he would be told these things occurred by people who like worked in the forest, and that they saw
Hmm.
this and they saw that. So Sanderson wrote in 1961 that a junior forestry officer had described in great detail two of these little creatures that he had suddenly noticed quietly watching him on several occasions near the foot of the Maya Mountains. They don't want to be disturbed. You know what I mean? They don't want any harm. You know what I mean? They don't want to cause
Hmm.
harm. Some of them, I guess. So I guess that's why they were watchers, especially when they live in the forest. They may see, or I mean, this was back in 61. The world's changed a lot. We're cutting into places that we shouldn't be. There's a lot of forests that don't exist anymore. So even if these creatures did kind of exist in the forest back then, it's a possibility that they don't anymore because they've gone extinct if they
Yeah.
existed. So there is one other story that I want to tell about the duende, but this one's a little different. This is from San Pedro folklore, according to Angel Nunez. It's a personal account that he wrote. But before we do that, I want to play the last duende video that I have here. Let me see, where is it? This one is this one I watched a couple of times, and because at first I was like, oh, that's just a mouse or a rat or something. But if you look closely, you see that this thing is bipedal and it's tiny and it's running across the floor and it casts a shadow. Okay, check it out.
Ay, Christopher, ve nada más. Me estás retando. Te toca. Ya, para que veas como un experto lo hace bien.
So, you know what I mean? You see it kind of hop and you see two little feet run across. So,
Yeah.
I,
And
I
for anyone who wants to know, that's how Scuba looked when he jumped at the
that is
hotel.
exactly how it looked. The way that little kid jumped really high. So, again, for the audio listeners, we have kids playing with a ball in a room, and the ball rolls out of the room. He runs to get the ball, and he sees this little creature just kind of run across the floor. And I mean, it's insane, man. Because like I said, I do believe these things exist. I've seen them twice, so I know for a fact that these things aren't something to be made up by the imagination.
Yeah. Ben said it's a kangaroo mouse.
That was not a kangaroo mouse, Ben. Do they even have kangaroo mice in Mexico, Ben? You don't even know. See, you're not a zoologist. You don't know everything, Ben. It was a fucking duende, okay? That's we're fucking going with. It was a duende.
Now,
So,
now, now, what's the hierarchy here in cryptids? Okay, so we got elves, duendes, and leprechauns. Which one's higher up than the other?
well, I
I
think,
wonder if there's a
well,
beef.
I mean, the leprechaun just wants to protect his gold. You know what I mean? Um,
True.
fucking Ben says, yeah, they have sombreros. Are you fucking trying to say we just saw Speedy Gonzalez? Are you just
Dang.
damn?
He
We
hasn't been
just saw
canceled yet, so it could
Speedy
be.
Gonzalez confirmed. Woo! I don't know, man. I think that the leprechauns just want to protect their gold, unless they're evil little dicks like in the movie
Like in
Leprechaun.
the movie. Oh,
Yeah. I don't know. And then gnomes, I mean, I never of course, if you look online, there's stories of bad gnomes and, all that shit.
Mhm.
But I always anytime I think of a gnome, I always think of, like, David the gnome. You know what I mean? Like, that's my
Yeah.
go-to for gnomes because I grew up watching that cartoon, and they were always kind and gentle, and, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be fucking horrified if I fucking saw one walking around, you know what I mean? Um, but then that just goes into the whole, like, fairies. Do fairies exist? Which I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Why
I
the fuck
mean,
not?
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, if the
There's
government's
tons
telling us
tons of Earth we haven't explored yet or even discovered. Same with the oceans. I mean, they say we only explored what 5% of the ocean. So I
and I
mean,
don't even
hey,
fucking know,
no
bro.
telling.
I started looking into the hollow earth theory after watching fucking Godzilla versus Kong, and I was like,
Yeah.
God damn it, why did I start reading into this? Like, I was like,
Just
okay,
don't
this
don't
makes
go into the hollow moon theory
oh
about
dude.
sub bases.
Yeah, well,
Never ends.
I kinda looked into that the other day. So yeah.
That's a tricky one.
Ben, that is not nice, Ben, at all. I'm not even gonna put that on. I'm not even gonna that is not nice, sir. Ryan
No.
Seacrest is an angel. So this this last story I'm going to do right here is the San Pedro folklore according to Angel Nunez. This is his personal account. Okay, it says, "Do not go to the bush to cut firewood, nor look for coconut husks or el dueño del monte, which means like the lord of the jungle or the lord of the forest. Monte means like jungle, like brushy area." This was a common threat in the 1940s and 50s, which his mom would use when she needed her children at home for some chores rather than going to play in the bush. The children, of course, preferred going to the bush for the thrill of some adventure. It was not that they liked cutting fire, that they didn't like cutting firewood, but hunting for bird nests and raiding eggs was a thrill in itself. It also meant drinking fresh coconut water or hunting for cocoa plums or sea grapes. A trip to the bush could also run you the luck of killing some wild bird, a bush hog, or even a deer. Now, that was indeed a thrill. So, how could mom's funny threats about El Dueño del Monte scare anyone and keep him out of the bush? El Dueño del Monte was another name given to El Duende. Those who saw him said he was about 3 feet tall and wore a wide brimmed hat. Sometimes he wore a red hat and animal skin for clothing. Dad said that El Duende protected the animals in the bush and would get very angry when little boys killed birds without a reason. Mom said one could kill a bird if he would eat it, but to shoot one with a slingshot just to prove one's talent was wrong. El Duende was a daytime creature and would roam the bush and watch you mysteriously if you were killing animals. So basically, he's like a protector of the forest.
Okay.
Sometimes El Duende would get tired and sit at the foot of a tree to fall asleep. He would transform itself into red clay. Anyone spotting it would think it was some Maya artifact, but if you took it home, he would escape during the night. So when I think of that, I think maybe that's kind of like the origins of the garden gnome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be why they created garden gnomes was to maybe keep
It's after that
away
legend.
yeah,
Yeah.
to keep them away because if they would think that, oh, okay, well, there's already one here, I'm gonna move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where was I at? Oh, therefore, you can bet your sweet lip that if we found a clay figurine in the bush, we would not even touch it. What happened if the duende caught you in the bush? Well, he would take you to his dwelling, which was a spot deeper in the woods, probably a cave. But there was a way to escape him. He only had 4 fingers and no thumbs, so there it goes again. 4 fingers, no thumb.
Mhm.
So if surprised by him, you could hide your thumb in your palm of your hands, and he would think you are one of his, and he would leave you unharmed. So if you just hid your thumb, you could trick him into thinking that you were also just a giant ass
Hmm.
duende, I guess.
Well,
But I guess
that's pretty easy.
little kids are smaller, so they could be the size of a
Yeah.
duende. Most of the evil characters were scared away if you made the sign of the cross with sticks or even with your fingers. But El Duende was not an evil character, so he was not scared away by the cross. In fact, El Duende was a friendly character and only punished you if you were killing too many animals or doing mischief in the bush. He would be frequently spotted, especially during the Lenten season and especially on Good Fridays. I don't know
So
what
he was a
the.
Catholic.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's
Oh,
the
shit.
description of that's a little bit taller. Okay.
We got Johnny D. What up, Johnny D? How'd your vaccination go, man? So Ben said, I went to the bush for other reasons not suitable for. I hate you. I fucking hate you so much. He said, I can imagine way better places to put a thumb. I bet you can. I'm not going to be on your podcast no more. You scare me. You scare me.
Oh,
So,
since Ben's on right now, I had to go back and watch. I had a suggestion for your podcast, Ben.
oh yeah, he did have a suggestion
Go back
for your
and watch.
podcast, Ben. What was it? Tell him. Tell him the suggestion.
Oh,
He's right
okay.
here.
Let me tell you, Ben. Okay, I heard about the interview with Scuba. He said, man, it was amazing. Now, he also said you didn't want your face on TV because it wasn't suitable for TV. Agree, disagree. Eh. But no, if you go back, I used to watch this podcast, more like an interview setup from. It's on Vlad TV. The guy's name is Vlad, who does the interviews, but he's always behind the camera and has the camera on the person he's interviewing. So hey, maybe something to check out. Just a little suggestion. But heard you going places, so hey, keep it up, man. I'll listen.
Yeah. There you go. There's your suggestion by the lovely Joe. So El Duende was identified
Lovely.
by a piercing whistling, and that was his weakness. Anyone whistling in the bush was a target of an attack by him. That is why Dad used to say, never whistle while you are in the bush, or you will be calling on the Duende to attack you. 25 years ago, if anyone saw a strange man in the village and he would ask you to follow him, you can be sure that no one did for fear that he could be the infamous Duende. I'm sorry, but if I live in a fucking village and some random stranger's like, hey, come to the forest with me, I would not fucking
Yeah,
do
I
that.
wouldn't
You know what I
even
mean?
think
I
he's a
just be like,
Duende. I'd just
yeah,
be
I
like,
just
hey,
be like,
strange ass
yeah,
dude.
fuck this guy. You know what I mean? So I have one other story I want to read real quick because this one's from Guam. And it's I don't know that I'll get into it, or I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's really big, but basically, kind of the
She
same
said,
concept. Yeah, that's what she said. It's kind of the same concept of what I just read from San Pedro right there. Was that
"Mm,
they were told not to go into the jungle after dusk, and if you killed too many animals, basically the duendes would come and cause you, you know, cause mishaps and stuff for you until you either went to go apologize to,
mm,
the flowers that you pick. Even if you picked flowers after dusk, that was one of the things is you do not pick any kind of flowers after dusk. So if you do, basically the jungle gets mad at you and sends the duendes to punish you for, you know, doing that. And you would have to go and apologize to the jungle. And basically the lady was making, so there was a school assignment on how to trap a duende. So
Interesting.
the daughter had the idea of making a trap where you would hang it from a tree, make a hole in the ground, and then when the duende would try to go get whatever was, hanging, he would fall in the hole. So they went to go pick some flowers and vegetation and stuff to put on her little project that she was doing, but it was already after the time that they should have picked the flowers. Things started happening. She saw shadows up on her ceiling that looked like a little child with a pointy hat running in the house. And it was, she got scared. She called her parents, or her aunt and her mom. And the aunt came over and was like, no, it wasn't a little kid. It's not a ghost. It's a duende. You need to go apologize to the forest. So she went to go apologize to the forest, and the little duende went away. So
Hmm,
that was,
that's
and that
interesting.
was from Guam. You know what I mean? So these things are
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah. And now the San Pedro description, they describe her a little taller. I know she said three
Yeah,
feet
3 feet. Yeah,
and like a flat brimmed hat, like a
yeah,
wide brimmed hat.
yeah.
So like a hat man or
Kind of like that.
maybe a
Kind of that same style
sombrero.
hat. Yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
that. Which, um, the drawing that I saw made him look like the drawing that I saw of him from the San Pedro one looked like somebody that you would see like on Ren and Stimpy, like an old skinny man with like a long white beard, long nose, but just tiny. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't know. So what do you think after hearing all of this and hearing the description? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the Duende?
Well, I would say, oh, I'll see you later, guys. Um, Real, yes. As far as their descriptions or their intentions, I mean, there's, you know, too many descriptions, whether they're good, evil. So I don't know where to draw my conclusion on that. I would say, like spirits and ghosts, you have some good, some evil. Um, I still picture them like garden gnomes or something like that, or like
Yeah.
little gargoyle looking things. Like that one that was cloaked reminded me of a little Ewok, but
Well,
uh,
Jawa, like a Jawa from Star Wars.
Yeah, Jawa. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen too many videos, mainly from Mexico, like you said. But yeah, I've seen a lot of videos. I mean, to me, there's no denying that they're real. Do they want to be seen and want to be known? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bigfoot. You know, he's not coming in places, you know, looking to get filmed and taken pictures of, and like he just wants to stay to himself too. And that's kind of how I see them. Now the San Pedro one, where they're protectors of the forest and everything like that, I could see that. I've never heard that story before, so that's new to me. I'd have to look into that more, but definitely real. Definitely something I don't want to come in contact with, even though I've never seen them come after anybody. In any
Yeah.
videos I've seen, I've never seen that. Do they eat kids? I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think they eat kids. I think that was just more of like
Nah.
a parent trying to scare their kid into doing
Yeah,
what they
like,
needed to
"You
do.
keep it up, Imma let him eat you." Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, hands down, no doubt, I think they're real. Still on the fence about fairies, but I think Duendes are real. Yeah, they have to be. I just don't
All
wanna
right.
see one.
Well, like I said, I agree 100%. They are real. I have seen them twice in my life, or I think that's what they were. I mean, I don't know what else they could have been. You know what I mean? Of course, the description both times, I mean, are kind of different, you know,
Mhm.
but the I'm telling you, the egg-shaped man that I saw, man, they had to have been a
Definitely.
duende. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know what else it could have been. So I
And
don't
now
know.
since there is male and female Duendes, do they procreate? I mean, do they have offspring, or is it do they not even think of that? Because
I don't know,
I haven't
man.
heard anything.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, if there are male and female, then of course, you know, there has to be some kind of something going on there. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. And that
but
that that could be that last video of the little itty bitty one.
yeah,
What if it was a baby duende?
yeah, it could have been a baby duende. Yeah, I mean, or not a full grown one. So they have to grow
Yeah,
somehow. You know what I mean? And maybe
yeah.
they reproduce in a way that we don't. You know, if they're magical creatures, who the fuck
Maybe they
knows?
lay
Maybe they
eggs.
grow.
Who knows?
Maybe they grow in mushrooms. Who knows?
Right.
So. Ben said, of course they procreate. That's how we got Danny DeVito.
Ah,
Danny
yes.
DeVito's the man. So, once again, guys, I want to thank you for joining us on the return episode of Somewhat Supernatural. I promise you guys it will not be such a long wait for the next episode. Next episode, we are tackling the one and only Sasquatch. We're going to have Johnny D and TJ Bowser on here. It's going to be a hell of an episode.
Nice.
Joe, thank you for being on here, man. I always love having
Thanks
you
for
on here.
having me, man.
My trusty co-host right here. So,
Yeah.
you have anything you want to tell the people?
Man, just tune in, man. Support Project Louder and everything they do. They got some awesome podcasts. Check out Ben's what's it called? Ben's
Recycled Corn
Recycled Corn.
Podcast. Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah, check that out. Definitely. I'm gonna have to check it out too because I haven't yet. But I'll
I mean,
definitely
if
be
you want to
tuning
hear,
in.
if you want to hear 2 hours of me just babbling, listen to it. It's great. I
I
promise
mean,
you, it's
maybe
great.
I'll tune in for somebody else. I mean,
Beep.
think I already know a lot about you.
I don't know,
So
man.
that-
We
that
touched
may-
on
maybe I'll
some
tune in.
subjects. We touched on some subjects that were pretty fucking deep, man. It was good. Like it wasn't all comedy the whole time. It was really good. Really good. That's why I said he's going places, man. So
I'll check it out, man. Definitely.
once again, guys, thank you so much. I am your host with the motherfucking ghosts, Scuba Steve.
Yeah.
And that right there is
And Joe.
and Joe. Signing off. See y'all later. Stay spooky.